Hey guys, it's Ryan with My Listing Club. In this video, we are continuing on with the educational series, How to Build an Online Business with the My Listing WordPress theme. In this video, I'm going to cover all things related to launching your My Listing website. So we've gone through the design, the build, performance optimization, all the My Listing setup, and so on and so forth that we've worked on throughout the My Listing project template. So now, like I said, it's time to launch our site, and we've got to run through a checklist of items to make sure everything is on the up and up and working and all that sort of thing, and providing the best experience for your visitors. Sorry, my dog was just shaking there. I apologize. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it. You can learn more about the My Listing project template, which is what we're going to be continuing to work from here in this series. By going to the My Listing Club website. That's mylisting.club. Right here on the homepage, just scroll down a bit, click on the My Listing project template card. This is going to walk you through what this project template is all about. You're going to see this firsthand in this video. You can click the Buy Now button at the top to grab a copy of it. If you purchase a starter site from me, or you're a My Listing care plan client, or if you have a membership, those are the different ways that you can get your hands on the template. Okay. There's a walkthrough video, but you're going to see this, like I said, firsthand as part of this video. And then you'll see a change log at the bottom, keeping you guys up to date on what I'm changing and adding stuff to this. So the last two updates here are new and updated many tasks associated with launching a website, which we're going to see here. And then I added one performance testing task to the performance column. Those are some of the more recent updates to this template. Okay, let's go ahead and I'll close this down. Here we are looking at a live look at the current state of the project template. As you can see, tons of stuff in there. I'm going to scroll over to the right. We are now in the launch column here. So we're going to work through in this video all of the various tasks in this column. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring this over to, let me think here how to best do this. We'll go ahead and work through this. I also wanted to point out too, back on the club website, there is, if you go to menu and start here, there's a ton of ways to get to this guide, but there's this mega guide that that's open to the public. And it's basically the My Listing project template in Word, in more of like a blog post form. It doesn't have everything that the project template has. It doesn't have any of the checklists and things like that to check things off. But there is a ton of information and links in here to resources and whatnot. So definitely check this out. Let's actually use this for this video. I'm going to move the project template to my other screen. So let's actually work from this. This is mostly going to be a me talking kind of podcast format for this particular video. But we'll click on a couple links and check things out too. But mostly verbal here. So the very first item up here under launch is check for broken links. I'm not going to read all this stuff verbatim, but broken links will send visitors nowhere and can cause damage to your SEO. It's just a bad user experience too. You don't want people landing on pages on your site that are broken. It's a bad experience. It hurts customer trust, visitor trust on your website. They start to lose trust in what it is that you're providing. Unfortunately, broken links are super common. I've had tons of my own share of broken links. It's going to happen. If you run a website, it's going to happen. So just try to fix those as best you can. When you're developing website, it's common to put in like a fake link, like I've documented here, like the pound symbol, just so you get that link in there in some of those widgets. So you want to go back and checking these broken links will help identify those areas so you can actually put a valid link in there. So how do you check? Manually. That's one of the best ways. Just go through your whole site, test everything, try to maybe recruit some people to help you test. You can actually pay people to do this for you. There's any of the work platforms You can hire people to do this sort of quality assurance testing and test all your links and report back. There's services specifically for that. Another option is you can automatically check for these broken links. And I do that with SEO Power Suite. There's a deal for that in the club. And SEO Press Pro has this functionality too. There's also a discount and guides for SEO Press Pro. Okay, so broken links, knock those down, take care of those. Test submission forms, receipts, and messages. So you want to test your forms, make sure that the messages being returned to the person filling out those forms is working, for one. Two, how does it look? How's the formatting? Does it say what you want it to say? Does it look how you want it to look? Does it match your branding? How does that receipt and those messages look and work? As I say here, this is one of the best ways to convert people is having forms. So whether it's signing up for a freebie and getting them on your email list, or purchasing a product and opting in for your newsletter form there. So you just want to make sure all of this stuff works, because these are highly converting methods on your website. Simple form testing procedure. Make sure they're set to submit to an email address that you will actually check, that you have access to, that you're actively checking on a daily basis. Very important that you do that. You don't want to miss emails that are coming in. So I'll walk through some ways that you can easily test that there. And then lastly, if you're sending a receipt to the customer, check the inbox. You just want to check both sides. I walk you through this, but you can read that yourself. But you just want to check both sides, both as the person filling out the form, you as the admin, and vice versa. Basically, the last thing I'll say on that is just imagine you using a website to sign up for something or whatever. Just imagine your experience, like how you want that experience to go for you. Replicate that experience for people that are using your website. Okay. Advanced forms, automation, e-commerce. Sometimes you'll have more complex forms than a simple contact form. In that case, you want to make sure that all your automations are working. So if filling out a form triggers something else, make sure that trigger works, and so on and so forth. Client websites. If you're building a website for a client, you want to get them involved as well. Have them go through the testing process. I know it's painful and it's going to be painful for them, but you don't want to be on the hook solely. Down the road, if they say, "Oh, we missed 15 leads because we weren't getting our emails," you want to get your customer, your client testing and signing off that yes, in fact, they are receiving what they need to receive. It looks the way that they expect it to look, and so on and so forth. So they can never, but if they ever come back to you and say X, Y, Z, you can say, "Hey, you told me that this was working." Okay. So definitely get into that. On the club website, there's deals for forms solutions and transactional email solutions. I use Elementor Pro's built-in forms. I don't use any other third-party forms plugin. I just don't need to on my particular sites. And for transactional email, I use MailPoet. Highly recommend MailPoet. A lot of my clients also use MailPoet. All right, next up is responsive design testing. So testing your website across multiple screen sizes helps catch possible errors in your layouts and the user experience. So what do you want to look for? Do the menus behave properly on the different screen sizes? Is the text too large, too small? Is there any horizontal scrolling when the screen size gets smaller? Is that intended? Did you want that to happen? If not, address it. When testing for desktop, so go to any desktop size screen, whether it's your desktop, or maybe you have a monitor with a laptop with a large screen. That's where you're going to do your desktop, in quotes, testing. Okay, just those larger screens. Go to the 4 big browsers: Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and Edge. Go to all of those, test, and make sure the layout looks good. Mobile testing, same exact thing, but now you're going to use mobile devices. So that's your phone and your tablet. Okay. The more devices that you have on hand, the better. So this is kind of like a side note, but if you don't trade up your phones, like you have a phone, it's a few years old, you trade it in and get a new one. If you're one of those people that likes to hold on to your devices, that's great. Then you can test on all of those devices. Hopefully, maybe some of the screen sizes are different and the resolution and whatnot. So you can get a lot of good testing there from actual mobile devices. Lastly is mobile emulator testing. So that is, in short, is software that mimics the usage of an actual mobile device. Okay. The club has a deal for some responsive testing solutions. If we click on that, we've got Blisk and Hoverify. I use both of these. I use Hoverify on a daily basis. That's how, if you've ever seen my starter sites, and you see like some mobile screenshots, that's actually what I use to do that, is Hoverify. Blisk is what I use to do I use both, but Blisk is what I primarily use to make sure that websites are mobile responsive. Okay. What else? Yeah, so this is a checklist alert. If you get the MyListing project template, there's a huge list of items that I put on there of areas of a MyListing website that you should check when testing for responsiveness. Okay. Testing browser compatibility. Simply put, this is making sure your website works across all the major browsers. Chrome holds, I think, 65% of the market right now. Next up is Safari, then Microsoft Edge, and then Firefox. You want to test on those 4 browsers if you can. And I talk you through like some things to look for there. Manual browser compatibility testing. This is the most effective and least expensive. Simply put, manually go through your browser, use the inspector tools of whichever browser that you're in to check on the different devices. For example, if I right click here on my site and choose inspect, which I am currently now in Chrome, I believe. Yeah. You're going to get this option up here, toggle device toolbar. If you can see where my mouse is up here in the top here, and then you can toggle these different device sizes. And you can set these to whatever you want also. So let's pull up iPhone 12 Pro. You can see how that looks there. You can change the orientation. We can go to, you can do responsive, where you can just drag it to see the different how it breaks, that sort of thing. Okay, so that's manually testing. You can do that right from your browser, like I said, showed you. Now I've lost where I was. Let me do a search. There we go. All right, so let's go back to where we were. So that's manual browser compatibility testing. Automatic browser compatibility testing. This is using tools, and for that, I would look at Lambda Test. They have a limited free plan, and then they've got a plan starting at as low as $15 a month. So that's super cheap for what it does. Just really quick look at their website. So this is it. Super powerful stuff at a low price. So definitely check that out. And as you can see here, you can try it for free. All right. What else? HTML markup validation. This ensures that your HTML behind in the source code of your site is free from syntax errors. So there's just a lot of things to cover in this particular thing, but how do you validate it? This is the most important part to get to you, convey to you, is just use this tool from W3C. Let's go ahead and click on the link. They have this free validator tool. So just go in here, drop in your website. I could type club, drop this in, click check. It's going to quickly run through your site. And first up, what I would do is click on message filtering here. I would hide all info and hide all warnings. I would first start going through all of these errors. So look at these errors, see what they say, try to fix them and work through them. As you can see, I've got some work to do myself. Just because you see an error or a warning or whatever, it doesn't mean it's not the end of the world. In a lot of cases, especially because we all use Elementor here in this group. It presents some challenges. Just being honest, the MyListing theme has some stuff to contend with. It's not all it's not all doom and gloom just because you see an error. You just got to evaluate each error and each warning, and this is what is it really impacting. Okay, so again, free tool, definitely check that out. How to fix the errors. We'll go back here actually. Crap. Once an error shows or a warning or whatever, that tool is going to give you, in a lot of cases, going to give you a link to tell you how to fix it or address it. Okay, so that's how you fix it. Okay, so next up, accessibility testing. This refers to the ability of all people, regardless of whatever disability they may have, to be able to use your website effectively. So this is a really hot topic right now, but it comes down to, are you allowing everyone on the planet that's using a computer to effectively use your website the same as the person without any disabilities? For the most part, it's never going to be a 1-to-1, 100%, 100%. It's just not. But you try to get as close as that as you can for someone with a disability to have that same experience on your site as someone with no disabilities. That's the goal. When websites are properly designed and coded, people with disabilities can use them. However, many sites and tools are currently developed with accessibility barriers that make them difficult or impossible for people to use. So with that in mind, you could be losing customers, losing users, visitors, just because your site is not accessible. That is the minimum issue here. Obviously, you just want to try to be as good of a steward of your website as possible and give a great experience. The minimum issue is losing customers. That's the minimum issue. The next issue is minimum issue level is losing customers, users of your site. They just can't use it because they have a disability. But the really big issue here is potential fines and lawsuits, which are happening more and more these days. It's becoming more and more common. So how do you test for website accessibility? Again, we've got a free testing tool here, Wave Web Accessibility Evaluation Tool. Click on that. Same thing. Go here, drop in your website. It's gonna go through this particular page that you enter, and it's gonna walk you through everything that is going on with that particular page that you enter for the URL. If I want to switch this over to the MyListing Club store, I'll just put that URL in. It'll switch over to that page, and it will run through everything. So that's how you test for accessibility. There are tons and tons of guides and information out there regarding this topic, because, like I said, this is a really hot topic right now especially because of the lawsuits. So really want to check that out. Okay. Okay, so next up is general functionality testing. So looking at the project template, that would be this guy right here. So you're going to see this huge checklist. This one doesn't have a huge checklist. I'm adding to it all the time as things come up, but there's things for you to check there. Next up is the MyListing functionality checklist, testing checklist. This one is the big one. There's a lot of stuff in this one, and I'm adding to that one as well all the time. Online presence testing, same thing. I'm adding to it all the time. This is a newer one that I've added, but all of these three here will grow over time as I think to add stuff. This was kind of like a late addition that I've been ramping up lately. What else? All right, so we've done all this stuff. We're now ready to really unleash our website to the world. We want to now activate our different levels of caching. Okay. So when you're developing and you're building a website, you want to have all that caching off. But when it's time to launch, you want people to get the best experience performance-wise when they're using your site. So that's when you want to turn on all of those levels of caching after you've done all of your testing, all of your design, and all of that stuff. Here are the 4 levels. CDN, edge caching, server caching, and plugin caching. And as I say here, please refer to the performance section of this guide, or if you're in the template, refer to that column in the template, which is this guy right here. Okay, refer to that template for more, or that column for more information. Okay, yeah, so you'll want to turn all of these levels of caching on, depending on your tech stack and your environment. It just depends what you have. That's why I say refer back to that performance column, so you know what this stuff is. But turn all that stuff on when you're ready to launch. Disable coming soon mode. If you've put if you followed one of the other tasks, which is the coming soon task, maybe you've put up a coming soon template with Elementor, and you've got a nice pretty page saying we're launching soon. There's a newsletter form, so you're capturing those addresses so you can get those people into your email list and whatnot. Now it's time to turn that off. So you're launching, take down that page, or maybe you have another solution. There's plugins out there that do coming soon mode too. Whatever the solution is that you used for coming soon mode, take that off. Okay, open your website up to the public. Next up is disabling the Discourage search engines setting. So in WordPress, under the dashboard settings, reading, search engine visibility, there's a checkbox there, and a lot of times people like to check that box in addition to having a coming soon page to stop the search engine bots from crawling the site. So you definitely want, this is one of those big things that people forget. You want to make sure you uncheck that box if you ever checked it. Okay, let those search engines start crawling your information. Along those similar lines, verify that Google is indexing the data. So in a Google search bar, type in site : and then your domain. So in this case, it'd be site : mylisting.club. We'll go ahead and just do that together. What this is going to do is return all of the pages only for your specific domain. Okay. Let me type that in. Let me actually type that in, mylisting.club. There we go. So all you will see here is those links, pages, posts, whatever, that are related to your site. So this is all the stuff for you. No matter how far you drill down in here, this is all the stuff for your site. Okay? So that will tell you that Google is picking up your stuff and indexing it. And if for some reason it's not, you also need to give it some time too. So if you just came here and you've just, let's just say 5 minutes ago, you unchecked the Discourage search engine thing, and you've also disabled coming soon. If you did that 5 minutes ago, you're probably not going to see anything in here, or if you do, you're going to see very little. So you got to give it a little bit of time. You have to give Google some time. However, what you can do, there's a task card in here under online presence for Google Search Console. You can go to your Google Search Console and tell Google to, like, you're ready to go, like you're ready to rock, index my stuff. You can tell them to do that right away. Also with SEO Press, there's a instant indexing feature in there, which will also kick in and tell Google, like, start indexing this stuff. Okay, I think that is it. Yes, that is it. I hope you found this video useful. Please consider subscribing so when you know when the next videos come out. I really appreciate it. That helps me out a lot. Keeps me going with this stuff. Next up is walking through website care. That'll be the next video, assuming I don't add something else in between here. But that'll basically be how to care for your website for yourself if you don't hire someone like me to perform that service for you. Okay, talk to you all later and hope all's well. Bye.